Hi, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 4 for our Parks and Recreation Strategic Plan. I'm going to give it a moment to allow attendees to join the Zoom. We are anticipating a good number of folks to attend tonight, so just give us a little moment or so, and then we will get started. Hello again, for those who have already been on. We're going to just give it one more minute to allow people to join the Zoom. Thank you, though, for being here, and we'll get started in 1 second. Okay, hi everyone. Just gave a few moments to let some more folks in, but I think we're going to go ahead and get started with some housekeeping. My name is Christine Crosby, and I am the Recreation Manager here with the City of Mountain View. So I'd first like to thank you for being here to join us for our meeting number 4 for the Parks and Recreation Strategic Plan public meeting. This is 4 meetings out of 2 days, so thank you for being here. So first, we do have interpretation services available this evening in Spanish, Mandarin, and Russian. And if Nile, if you're able to move to the next slide. Thank you. For those that would be interested in having interpretive services for this evening, please click on the interpretation button and we will start it in just a second. I will allow our staff first to share the instructions. And Elena?
Gracias a todos por estar aquí en nuestra 4ª reunión del Plan Estratégico del Parque y Departamento de Recreación. Si es que va a ocupar interpretación al español, por favor vaya al inferior de su pantalla y seleccione el icono que tiene el globo que dice Interpretation o interpretación para interpretación en español. Gracias.
Thank you, Elena. Ivy?
晚上好，谢谢大家参加今晚的公园和娱乐战略计划会议。那么今晚我们会提供中文的实时翻译。如果你想收听中文的话，请点击一会儿出现的地球图标，上面选择 Chinese 中文，您就可以收听中文翻译。如果你想要发言的话，或者是随时输入你的问题，可以点击下面的 Q&A 输入问题。谢谢。
Thank you, Ivy. And Natasha?
Добрый вечер. Добро пожаловать на 4-е собрание, посвященное началу разработки стратегии развития парков и зон отдыха нашего города Mountain View. Если вам нужен перевод на русский язык, пожалуйста, найдите внизу экрана иконку с изображением глобуса, кликните на нее и выберите русский язык. Меня зовут Наташа Дроздова, я вам помогу с переводом. Все свои замечания и вопросы вы можете также размещать под иконкой Q&A или в чате. Приятного вам вечера.
Thank you, Natasha. Okay, I'm going to turn interpretive services on right now. And so we're good there. Thank you. One last housekeeping item. If you would like to ask questions throughout the presentation, feel free to put them in the Q&A box. And if time allows, we will do our best to answer them. And all Q&A will be captured for this process. So let's get started. I'd like to introduce our Community Services Director for the City of Mountain View, John Marchant.
Great. Thank you very much, Christine. And I'd like to start off by saying thank you to Christine for her help in getting us here tonight, as well as the entire Community Services Department team and all the work that they have done, again, to get us here, for being able to kick off the Parks and Recreation strategic plan process. It's been a long time in getting to this point, and we are excited about kicking it off with you, our community, to learn more about what's ahead as we go through. This is just a starting point to start this process. Again, this plan is one of the City Council's strategic priorities to enhance Mountain View as a great place to live and that values community health and wellness. Before I introduce, actually, I'm going to move on and say I want to take a moment and highlight that we opened Pyramid Park last fall, which adds an estimated 2.75 acres to our city's open space. And we will be opening Fayette Park in just the next couple of months. So those are coming up, and that will be open soon. We are also in the design phase for 2 new parks, one on Evelyn and one on Villa Street. And we've also purchased property, one on Thompson Avenue in the Montaloma area, and property on San Rafael Avenue in the Sylvandale neighborhood for future park sites. And while we have been successful in those, we will continue to look for additional opportunities to expand our park system. To build on this momentum, the completion of the Parks and Recreation Strategic Plan will help us plan for the next 10 years in relation to the future of parks, open space, trails, recreation programming, and facilities in the city. The plan will be shaped with public input at many different touch points, well above and beyond tonight, and it will be guided through the lens of equity. This includes working toward equitable access to parks and open space, inclusive parks and programs, and much more. And the consultant team will talk more about that tonight. We learned a lot over the past few years. During and since the pandemic, we have seen how parks are important to the community and quality of life. We need more parks, more open space, especially in certain parts of the city, including Montaloma, Rex Manor, Rangsdorf, and Sylvandale. While school space has helped us meet that need in the past, this too is changing, and we will change the way that we count our open space. Through this process, we will receive input from our residents and engage with our partner agencies. Our consultant team will explore how to look at that, and will provide options to calculate open space and expand our parks in the city through the lens of equity. While acknowledging a need to increase our park space, we also want to recognize the cost to acquire, design, and construct open space. The city will work with our consultant team to help identify new funding streams through Nexus studies to potential revenue measures. And so once again, we're excited to be kicking off tonight with our lead agency, Next Practice Partners. And with that, I would like to say that Next Practice Partners is well known across the state and across the country. They've worked with a number of cities in the state of California, and they've helped a number of agencies receive numerous awards throughout the country. And they've also worked with a number of agencies, including Disney and even up to the Super Bowl. And so they are very well known throughout the region. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nilay Bhatt. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. We appreciate all of you making time to be a part of the strategic plan public meeting process. So before we get started, we'd love for you to scan this QR code on your phone or go to menti.com and enter the code. This is part of the live polling and the input exercise we will do throughout this entire presentation to continue getting your input. Along the way, if you have any questions, please feel free to add that in the Q&A portion here, as well as any comments that you have, do add that in the Q&A too, and we will be answering them as we go along. For the first question here, as we go forward, we're going to test and see if this works for everybody and just get a sense of where the attendees are joining us from. We also have this input in the chat box if you're unable to log in yet. We're starting to see the results come in real time now. Looks like a really good representation citywide thus far. A lot of people from Springer, Cuesta, and Phyllis. Equal number from Honolulu, Farley, Rock Street, Grant Road, and Sylvan Park. Just curious as well, if you are joining online and have more than one person, so more than just yourself on this call, on this webinar as well, can you please type in the Q&A portion a comment that indicates how many of you are watching this webinar right now? If it's just you, or if it's more than you. And if so, how many more? We'd love to know just how many people are joining the webinar with you right now. See a comment, Sejal said there's 2 with her. Debbie's got another person as well. This is helpful. Thank you so much for joining and sharing that as well. Looks like a number of you have multiple people with you. That's very, very good. Please do type in if you've got more than just you joining in this meeting as well. We're still seeing some multiple choice responses come in, so we'll give you all just a few seconds here to finish taking the survey. Okay. All right, so let's look at just the overall agenda. We'll talk to the community profile, the process of the strategic plan. Along the way, we will continue getting your input, and then we'll talk about the next steps. So a little bit about us. As I said, my name is Nilay Bhatt. I'm the founder and CEO with Next Practice Partners, joined by my colleague, Jason Elisaldi. We're based in Indianapolis, but we do this all over the country. And as John alluded to, a lot of these in California as well. Really underpinned by this focus on inclusion, innovation, and information to ultimately inspire action in communities. Worked in 30+ in California, a number of CAPRA, which is the Commission for the Accreditation of Park and Recreation Agencies, as well as national gold medal winners, and I worked all over the world. We're joined by WRT, who's won a number of planning and design awards, combination of planners, urban planners and designers, architects, landscape architects, etc. They're based in San Francisco as well. They're hyper local here, and have been a part of the team and worked with us on a number of projects, including most recently in Fremont, and they're working in East Palo Alto as well. We also have other groups with us. This is Merge Inclusion with Lisa Drennan and her team as well, helping from an inclusion assessment standpoint too. And we have ETC Institute that's going to help with the statistically valid survey process as a part of this. So we're looking at a team that is a combination of local, regional, and national experts across a wide spectrum of areas. These are just some of the different types of agencies we have worked in California just in the last 5 years, ranging from San Jose to Pleasant Hill to Cordova to Los Angeles County, San Diego, Carlsbad, and others. These are other national gold medal winners, and these are agencies we'd love to learn from as well, with Mountain View being a 2-time national gold medal finalist. These are great agencies for us to benchmark against and also learn from as well. And these are some other agencies My colleague Jason has helped Willamette Lane Park and Rec District in Oregon win the National Gold Medal. Our team has worked with a number of different entities as well, including TEDx, the California Park and Rec Society, Target, and so on, Disney, and so on as well. So let's get some more input from you all here with respect to usage and quality. A reminder again, if you're just joining in now, please scan this QR code or go to menti.com and type in the code you see on the screen. And let's look at the next question. How often do you use any parks, trails, open space, or recreation facilities in Mountain View? Wow, every single person so far uses them at least weekly. There's a couple now that use monthly as well. Okay. Right. Going once, going twice. Fantastic. So for those of you, and clearly a large number of you use it on a very frequent basis, we'd like for you to type in which park and or open space do you visit most often. If you use more than one or visit more than one, by all means, type more than one park or open space as well. See Eagle Park, Cuesta, Mauna Loma, Bub Park, the pool, Shoreline, Cuesta twice a day, Rengstorff. Looks like a lot of different responses coming in. This is wonderful, you all. Lots of great responses. We have someone that says they go to Eagle Park 5 to 6 days a week for the pool, and Cooper Park 2 to 3 days a week. Fantastic. Let's look at the next one here. How would you rate the quality of the parks, trails, open space, and recreation facilities or programs in Mountain View? See, the most number of you have said good so far, followed by even numbers saying, almost even numbers saying excellent and fair. For those of you that have rated excellent or fair, If you'd like to share why you rated the way you did, feel free to type that in the chat box as well, or in the Q&A. Anyone just joining in, and if you'd like to participate in these polls, please go to menti.com. That's at the top of the slide and the screen that we're sharing, and use the code 3908-3185. All right, so talk about access and travel. How do you get to the parks? How close do you live? Yes, no, or not sure. Do you live within a 10-minute walk to a park, open space, or trail? It looks like the majority of you live within the 10-minute walk. Give you all a few more seconds to answer. All right, going once, going twice. All right. Now, excluding a school site, how many of you live within a 10-minute walk to a park, open space, or trail? All right. How do you travel to your nearest local park or open space? You walk, bike, drive, ride with a friend, teleport, or do not use any parks and or open space in Mountain View? Okay, looks like most of you walk right now, followed by drive and bike, and we have a teleporter. That is excellent. Okay. So just a little bit about the process itself. This strategic plan is meant to be a living, outcome-focused action plan based on trends, based on community values, vision, mission, your priorities, the staffing and funding needs, the long-term capital planning, of course, an equity and resilience focus that all leads to this document. Big part of this is going to be the community profile and understanding what Mountain View is and is going to be. 91% of the residents, based on a study done by the Trust for Public Land, this includes school sites as well, 91% live within a 10-minute walk of a park. In addition, looking at data from the census and Esri, Environmental Systems Research Institute, we look at census data that shows your overall population continues to grow At the same time, it does continue to diversify from a race and ethnicity standpoint as well. Over time, the largest growth in the population areas will be in what the census calls Asian, and the largest drop will be in what the census calls white alone. 2 or more races will also continue to grow in the next several years. From an ethnicity standpoint, the Hispanic and Latino population will make up approximately 1 in 5 people in the community as well. From an age segment standpoint, the population continues to age. On the top right-hand side, under the 2038 projection, you will see about 29% of the population will be over the age of 55, whereas 44% of the population will be under the age of 35. A very good mix in terms of an active older population with a lot of young families as well, and really a focus on an intergenerational or a multi-generational offering for the community. And along with that, looking at income levels, on the extreme left is Mountain View, followed by California numbers, followed by the national average. And you can see the per capita, that's the individual, and the household income are both much higher than state and national averages. You have a higher than average educated audience, as well as one that certainly is more affluent compared to the rest of the state or the country. All right. A few other things here. This really speaks to the cultural diversity in Mountain View. 49%, almost 1 out of 2 people speak a language other than English at home. 43% are foreign born, which is more than 3 times the national average and almost 2 times the California average as well. This MPI stands for Market Potential Index, and this indicates the index as a national average of 100, and every activity above or below that indicates how much more or less likely is the population of Mountain View to participate in that particular activity. Pickleball isn't tracked as a part of this, although with the growing popularity, we'd be surprised if it isn't going forward. But you can see for most sports, this is higher than national averages. As for almost every single fitness activity as well, from swimming to Pilates, these are much higher than national average. As are most outdoor activities, from hiking to biking, backpacking, etc. Again, these don't have to happen in Mountain View. It simply means the residents of Mountain View are likely to participate in this activity wherever they may go. One last piece here is commercial recreation. And you can see from an arts and culture standpoint, a lot of different activities, museums to art galleries, theater, book clubs, photography, etc., are all higher than the national index of 100. So as our approach goes, we really want to think in terms of ensuring every voice is heard. You saw as a part of this process as well, the one main takeaway we'd love for you to bookmark and save is this website called imaginemvparks.com. Every meeting we have now and going forward will be advertised here. The recordings from these meetings as well will also be there. And any developments from the assessment, the data findings, etc., previous plans will all be on the website. You can also go here and add your email information if you want to stay updated on all project updates, and we will continue to reach out to you. If you registered for this meeting, we will obviously keep you informed in the future as we go through opportunities for online information. You heard Christine talk about at the very beginning from all our different interpreters as well. This will be a multilingual process from Russian to Spanish to Mandarin as well. And our surveys will also be multilingual and statistically reliable. This is done through ETC, as we mentioned, and from barriers to participation to how you would like the city to spend money as well. All of these will be included in the process. Jason Elsaldi from our team kicked off the program assessment with the staff already. We will be reviewing these programs for which ones are core, which ones are in different stages of the life cycle, how they are priced to better understand your needs, and how the city staff can provide that going forward. And that'll be complemented by John Gibbs and Diksha Rawat and their team from WRT to assess every single park and facility, get a sense of the existing condition, and on a site-by-site basis, rank the improvements and assign dollar amounts so you know what will it cost to fix the system, to take care of the things that need to be taken care of or replaced in the different parks. All these leads to the GIS-based equity mapping. These are simply samples from other cities, and they show you for each amenity type, where are there gaps and overlaps in the system, so you understand when it comes time to plan for the future, with the growing audience as well, with different needs, where might be gaps or overlaps, so the staff and the city can make decisions to maximize equity of access. Ultimately, this leads to the visioning process and focusing on the why, working with you all, with the staff, getting a sense of the values, the vision, mission, keeping in mind the priorities that you have shared from the survey and the remaining public input process, working with WRT to not only identify from a replacement, renovation, or new where the spending has to be, but also what funding sources are, and ultimately the living, breathing action plan tied to values, vision, mission, outcomes, etc. So let's talk about the future, and this is where we'd love to continue getting your input. From a polling, from a communication and barrier standpoint, let's start with that first. Your 3 most preferred ways to learn about Mountain View Community Services Department. For those of you that have chosen social media, it'll be great if you can type in perhaps in the Q&A portion here, which specific social media do you have in mind? Looks like email is the number 1 so far, followed by website. And Fujimoto talks about Nextdoor. Thank you very much. All right, let's look at the barriers. What prevents you from using parks, programs, or facilities in Mountain View more often? I am too busy, I don't feel safe or welcome, lack of ADA access, lack of amenities, lack of awareness, lack of non-English language info, lack of lighting, parking, restrooms, transportation, wayfinding signage, poor customer service, too far, expensive, or other. If you have other, please type in the chat as well. We'd love to know what some of those others are. Also, for those of you that have chosen lack of amenities or don't feel safe, if you can type in more in the chat as well to the Q&A area. What are some reasons why you don't feel safe? Or what are the kinds of amenities that you'd like that are lacking in the parks or the centers? Same for those of you that have chosen other. It'll be great if you can type in and let us know what the other might be. All right. See a few of the results: lack of off-leash dog sighting, monitoring, poor cleanup after busy weekends, pickleball court quality and time available, not as good, no basketball courts at any parks near us. Good bike lanes and tree canopies for walking help with access to the parks. So too many dogs not on leash, lack of availability of pickleball courts, no elevation gain options. Pickleball facilities are poor relative to neighboring cities. Nets are particularly poor. Okay. Let's talk about future needs here as well. Which 3 facility amenities are you most, or you or members of your household are most interested in? I see cricket fields, community center, diamond sports fields, aquatic features, arts and cultural spaces, basketball courts, dog park, indoor sports complex, open space, picnic areas, playgrounds, pickleball courts, rectangular sports fields, tennis courts, trails and walking paths, or other. For those joining in, you can log into, or in your browser, type in menti.com, MENTI.com. And at the top, you can see the code as well, 3908-3185. Lots of wonderful responses coming in. Kids Care Center, Cooper Park needs sidewalk. Weeds in front of Blacktop area cut. Cuesta Park would like a bridge or sidewalk to connect sidewalks. One sidewalk across from the barbecue areas. Parkours. Sand volleyball courts, more trees around playgrounds. All right. So far, I see the largest number for aquatic features, a pool and splash pad, and trails and walking paths, followed by open space. We'll see a few of you adding in, which is great. Okay, let's look at programs. What are the top 3 types of programs that you would be most interested to participate in? Adaptive programming, aquatics classes, Deer Hollow Farm, environmental education, facility reservations, fitness, preschool, senior programs, special events, sports, summer and vacation break camps, team programs, and other. Looks like aquatics and fitness are the top two so far, followed by sports. If you chose any of these, by all means type in as well and let us know when you think fitness, when you think sports, when you think other or classes or special events, what do you specifically have in mind? Swim team, it's wonderful for the community kids. More time available for sports teams. Any other input? Dedicated pickleball courts. Aquatic fitness other than lap swimming. Pickleball, dedicated courts, 25-yard, 25-meter pool lanes. Okay. What are the 5 most important improvements that you'd like to see in the next 10 years? See some other input coming in, basketball courts, pickleball courts. Same here as well. If you type in other or build new or update existing sports courts or anything else, what specifically do you have in mind? See more pickleball courts. More canopy coverage from trees, not from shade structures. New dedicated pickleball courts. More trees, more shrubs, more butterflies canopy for squirrels, more oaks, centralized dedicated pickleball courts, more benches at Cooper Dog Park and Cooper Park in general. Okay. Looks like expand and connect the trail system has the highest number, followed by community gardens, build new or upgrade existing sports courts, improve, expand indoor recreation space for fitness, sports, etc., and outdoor pool and splash pad are the 5 highest ones thus far. Last one here, please rate your satisfaction with the overall value you receive from the community services department. Some other input coming in. Other also includes shading play structures. For those of you, again, as you choose what you do, you can type in why you rated the value or your overall value and satisfaction as you did. Some other input still coming in, asking for horseshoe pits, short-term, more pickleball courts with high quality nets, long-term, more permanent pickleball courts. Those of you, looks like the majority thus far have said very satisfied, followed by somewhat, neutral. 3 of you have said somewhat dissatisfied. Would love to hear why you wrote or shared what you did. More input in the chat. Athletic field improvements, too many holes. Need to use parks as patches of greenery for biodiversity in the city. Not always get actionable responses from parks personnel. Other input, anything else? Very satisfied, very friendly, courteous, and competent staff, including the lawn mowing staff. Pools with accommodations for competitive swimming, holes drilled for diving blocks, absence of play structures on deck. All right. So, as we said, this is just one of many avenues for you to share your feedback. This meeting, the meeting from yesterday evening, are all recorded and will be available for you to view on imaginemvparks.com within the next 1 week. The statistically reliable community input survey will be launched either later this year or early next year. Because it has to be statistically reliable, it will be random and anonymous as it is shared and sent across the city to city residents specifically, with the option for an online community survey that is similar but not statistically reliable on imaginemvparks.com. We'll have pop-ups as well. Special events have intercept surveys. We've been doing those at the movies, the concerts, the music events as well. And we'll come back and present these findings to you all early next year. Once we go through the visioning process, we will come back again and share results and draft recommendations so the community gets to weigh in on the input. And throughout the process, please continue to stay engaged. Go to imaginemvparks.com, share your input, ask questions, follow along. And if there's any other ideas you think of after these meetings, please do share. Others that couldn't attend the meetings, if they'd like to have and share any other input, please encourage them to go to the website and to continue to do so as well. With that, I am going to bring an end to this meeting. John, if you have any final words that you'd like to share as we close this meeting.
Thank you, Nile. Yes, I just want to once again thank everyone for being here tonight, really engaging in this process as it is kicking off. And I would like to say have a good night. We look forward to seeing you and participating more ahead. Thank you.